Tampa Bay Rays are tied for first atop a highly competitive American League East. We are pleased to welcome back Rays manager Joe Maddon, who joins us from Toronto, where they have turned the music up. Let's start with this. In our last block here, we talked about Albert Pujols. How do you manage somebody who's in a severe slump?
We did it last year. Evan Longoria as an example. He was, when he came back from that injury, if you remember, he wasn't really hitting that well. What I like to do historically is hit him first. I mean, it might sound crazy, but I like to try to change their mindset. I like to try to have them think about themselves differently. Just get on base, see more pitches, hit singles up the middle. I did that, heck, back in Double-A when I managed in Double-A successfully, and it worked out pretty good with Longo. So you're always trying to mess with the way that they're thinking a little bit and try to simplify things.
How much room is there for innovation in baseball managing? And it seems you're very comfortable with this, but I'm presuming not all organizations would be as comfortable with it.
Well, I think you're right. Again, it's a buy-in factor, man. You got to believe that it's good, and you got to believe that it's going to work. Listen, I'm as old school as they come. I really like the fundamentals of the game. I want to believe we run as hard to first base as anybody, that we hit the cutoff man, that we run the bases properly. That's, to me, the components of old school. But if you fail to really understand and want to utilize what's going on today and in the future, then at some point you're going to deem yourself unemployable or leave yourself behind. And so it's not a tough sell with me, because I've always believed in this stuff. But now it's, and again, I want to use this word, somewhat easier, because back even 10 or 15 years ago, I had to write all this stuff down and calculate it myself. Now you get all the computer spit outs and people a lot smarter than me putting the stuff together. And all I got to do is read it and then try to implement it. I really believe in the next 5 years at the most, you're going to see every organization doing this stuff. And at that point, the margin between winning and losing becomes even finer.
Did you ever really think, looking back, that you'd be sitting on a major league bench with a computer right next to you that would determine all of these things?
Honestly, I did, and I used to have that argument a lot, because the argument was, a computer can't win a baseball game, and I agree, it cannot. But it help you create the edge necessary to win the game. Of course, the players got to do it. It's a player's game. It's all about the players, always has been, always shall be, and I'll never dispute that. But when they're all good, which major league players are, you're always looking for that little edge somewhere, and you have to go under the hood to find the edge, man. And if you're unwilling to do that, the group that is doing that's always going to have the edge.
Well, maybe this will lead into a computer answer as well. You got injuries now. Longoria is out. Desmond Jennings is out. You just lost Jeff Niemann. Does any sort of twisted part of you enjoy the challenge of backfilling for these guys?
You understand that twisted part of me, huh? It's, I've always talked about the Rays like stormy weather. And again, I'm very pleased that I've been able to get to this point the way I have, meaning all the years I've had experience-wise in the minor leagues, I think, helped me in these moments. When you're in the minor leagues, man, you're being creative all the time. You're always working with different kind of rosters and injuries, and sometimes playing short. It happened all the time, and you have to be creative, and you never cry about it. So there is that twisted part of me that, you're right, that does enjoy this a bit. Would I prefer having everybody here? Absolutely, missing Longo and Jennings and Niemann and Farnsworth, etc. Yeah, I'd love to have them all here, but in the meantime, it's kind of interesting on a nightly basis to try to put it together properly and see it work.
You grew up in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, right up Route 81. I've taken that ride. You've rededicated yourself to the town, especially in bridging the gap with the Hispanic community. We've seen features on this, and we've seen how hard you've worked. What I'm wondering is, what lessons for society can be found within the walls of a baseball clubhouse?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You walk into our clubhouse, and I'm going to have players from all over the United States, different cultures involved with that, and different countries themselves. So you're always dealing with different cultures and the diversity component, which I really love. I really dig the diversity. I really enjoy talking to people about how they grew up, about their families, what they think and why they think that way. I think it's fantastic, and I just think my little hamlet of Hazleton, PA is just pretty much catching up with the rest of the world. It's all very, very important as we become more diverse in this country. My hometown has to understand that we have to grow with everybody else, because I want to see Hazleton arrive back like it had been many years ago. As a kid growing up, I felt and still believe it was the best place ever to grow up.
As always, Joe, thank you so much
Joe,
for your
thank
time.
you. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having the Rays on. Thanks, guys.
We're taking a break. When we come back, what are the chances the Clippers-Spurs series is a long one?
Plus.